Hello there people, so hope you're having a lovely Sunday out there. So I've been doing a bit of thinking about the project here and of course the YouTube channel as well. So I mentioned in my last video about establishing a peach orchard, so that's something I really would like to get into. Now I intend to do it here, so this is a medium to smaller size garden, and I think I can do it with a degree of thought. So I've got one peach tree, as you know, and I would like to get maybe, if I could get maybe 5 or 6, all the different varieties, peaches, nectarines. I'd like a variety of yellow and white flesh ones, and maybe even one of them little donut peaches, because I think they're kind of cute. So yeah, I'm thinking about how I'm going to go about doing this. So basically the main thing will be avoidance of peach leaf curl. That's one thing that obviously must be avoided, because you're going to lose trees if that happens, or at least severely restrict your crop. So yeah, that's one thing that's going on about here. Now, intriguingly enough, I spoke to a man a while ago who happens to grow peaches in Portugal. Now, in the part of Portugal he's got them growing in, they do get the winter chill, so to speak. But he says when it goes below a certain temperature there, it doesn't rain. So this is how the peach leaf curl is avoided. It's been something I've always been thinking about. How do they avoid peach leaf curl in these climates which one would traditionally consider peaches to be grown? Spain, Portugal, warmer parts of the US, you get the general idea. So this was one thing that I was thinking very much about, and he said no, well, because when it goes below a certain temperature we don't get the rain, so the tree doesn't get wet. So of course peach leaf curl, the problem is when the temperature goes below 16 degrees C and then the tree gets wet. That's when the peach leaf curl becomes the issue. So there you go, that's how they avoid it there. I was thinking, do they do it with massive loads of spray, for instance? Well, he says he doesn't spray his trees, he just puts the trees out in his yard, in the garden, and leaves them, and they crop, relatively sort of problem-free, a bit like how an apple or a pear would here. So that's very intriguing. So how am I going to go about doing it? Well, they're going to be container grown. Okay, now of course, haven't got that much room here in the polytunnel at the moment, but when the tomatoes are finished, I will have more room. So, one thing I'm thinking about doing is, and I read about this before, I think it was in a D.G. Hessian book, quite a good sort of gardening series, if you will, of books, lots of information out there. And I was thinking, well, I could grow them in pots and put them outside in the summer, when the problem of leaf curl isn't there, because it's generally considered a winter problem, and then keep the trees under cover, either in here or in a shed or something, during the late autumn, winter and early spring, which the leaf curl could be the issue. So that's one option there. Another option, of course, is grow them as fans and then cover them up during the dormant season again. And of course another option is to start, is to apply Bordeaux mixture, spray copper sulfate. Well, I don't really want to do that unless I really have to. I'd like to do it, with using sort of like natural control of keeping the rain off, if you will. So that's the direction I would like to go. So been looking through sort of catalogues about what peach trees to get, and of course there's a cost effect as well. Can't happen immediately, this is going to happen over a period of time. So Rochester, that's a traditional sort of UK peach variety. Another one, a nectarine, would be Lord Napier, I believe. And of course there's loads of different varieties, peaches and nectarines now. Avalon Pride, Red Haven, what do they call them little donut ones, Sausey peaches, Sauzee, something like that. But certainly thinking about how I'm going to go about doing this, but that's something I would like to do, because I think it would be a very interesting project. And this just brings me on to think about what people want to achieve from their gardening efforts. Is it to do with growing flowers for beauty, for the bees, whatever, or food production, or a bit of both? And I'd like people out there to realise that for the majority of people it can be done. doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to achieve what you want to achieve immediately. It might take time. If you're living, up really high in a flat or apartment and you don't have a garden, of course it's far, far more difficult to go about doing this, or you haven't got access to a garden or an allotment. But I've been looking on the internet really at what some people have done that live in like flats or whatever without gardens, and I saw one chap I remember the name, I think it was Mark Ridsdale Smith or something like that. Put it in the internet. I read it a while ago, and he hasn't got a garden, he's got a balcony. He's growing stuff on his windowsills outside, tomatoes in window boxes and things like that. Phenomenal stuff. And these lovely community gardens that are springing up about now. I remember I visited one a while ago, and man, the stuff that they were growing there, because it's a community garden, which meant it had plenty of space. They had big polytunnels there. They really did. And all sorts. It was relatively late in the season, and there was a massive food production going on there. They had kale, chard, beetroot, all late into the season, where if it was out in the sort of open air, so to speak, the slowdown of growth would have slowed down. So, but yeah, it just makes me think. There we go. So basically, the plan is to, over the winter period, I'm probably going to do it. Now, this is to a degree buying peach trees, nectarine trees, over a winter period. There is a risk in this because you can't see if they are already affected with the peach leaf curl, of course, because they haven't leafed out. So if a tree is infected with peach leaf curl, and then you turn around and it wakes up, and then each leaf is curled and red with leaf curl, that could be a potential problem. So ideally, I'd like to see the trees leafed out before I purchase them. I mean, I had a bit of luck with this tree here. I bought that in the dormant season. I've even got the video on here somewhere unboxing the Dixie Red peach tree. It is on my channel somewhere. Amazed at how much bigger it's got. But this is indeed a risk, so I'm going to be chewing this over and really getting into the growing medium as well, of how I'm going to go about producing this. So if anyone's got any thoughts or comments on this subject, please feel free to post below, and I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Take care and speak soon.